Hello, my name is Havla Gianetta, and welcome to the ninth reading update for my GoFundMe campaign. This excerpt is a memory from my time studying abroad in England, where I met for the first time someone my age who had had similar experiences to ones I did. I'm going to open with a classic from Clive Staples Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There are only three possibilities. Either your sister is telling lies, or she is mad, or she is telling the truth. You know she doesn't tell lies, and it is obvious that she is not mad. For the moment, then, and unless any further evidence turns up, we must assume that she is telling the truth. And again, that is an abridged quote from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I studied Anna as she leaned casually back in her seat, still astonished that she'd been able to quote Chaucer's original text from memory. Who was this brilliant, blonde, alcohol-chugging nerd with too much purple makeup on her eyes? Something about her cavalier attitude annoyed me, but I also wanted her to like me, to be impressed by me. It wasn't until she dropped another unexpected fact about herself that I realized that the conversation had moved on. Sorry, I interrupted. What did you say? I hate women, Anna rasped with another sip of wine. I raised my eyebrows. Really? You seem to have a lot of affection for your sisters. Because they're my sisters, she countered, eyeing me steadily. Men are just more laid back, you know. If by laid back you mean emotionally unavailable until they lose their shit, then okay, I retorted. Don't you find that men often tend to lack a certain elasticity of thought? No, I don't, Anna shot back. Or even if they do, she continued after a slight pause, it's still better than the petty, nagging bullshit that women pull. I shrugged as I picked up the last knot of garlic bread. Well, I don't have any male or female friends, so what do I know? I'm not even on the best terms with my family right now. Ugh, family. Anna laughed bitterly. Don't get me started. My parents are fucking retards. They're deluded. It's hilarious, really. They speak in tongues and they actually believe in faith healing. A lump formed in my throat as Anna insulted the exact kind of spiritual practices I cherished when I was growing up. Maybe we weren't going to be friends after all. And how could she call her parents retards? I mean, yeah, I would kill my dad in a heartbeat, but I would never talk about him in public that way. Maybe your parents have a reason for believing those things, I murmured uncomfortably as I shifted in my seat. Oh, come on, Havilah, no. You don't understand, Anna jeered as she cocked an eyebrow at me. My parents think they've seen demons. Demons. I stared at my plate as the lump in my throat descended and grew into a pit in my stomach. It was always going to come back to this, to the people I liked most telling me that demons and visions were things that only delusional idiots believed in. A wave of grief swept over me as Jace's face popped into my head. I couldn't do that again. Stifling the truth, hiding who I really was. My breathing began to quicken as anxiety rushed through me. I had to tell her, even though it was a damn shame because I really, really wanted Anna to like me. But at least we'd only been in England for a few weeks, so there wasn't much of a friendship to lose. Anna probably wasn't going to speak to me after tonight. I pictured seeing her around campus with Jill and the other American students. At first, they'd probably point at me and laugh, but eventually they'd lose interest and ignore me completely. What else did you think was going to happen, Havilah? I asked myself. That the world was going to pat you on the ass and say, good little prophet, nice little prophet, why don't you tell us all about your visions? Of course not. I inhaled, steeling myself for her reaction. I'd known this was coming. And so what if I had no friends? Not being suicidal was more important than having friends. I've seen demons, I blurted, still looking down at my plate. I braced myself, waiting for a response, but none came. Unsure what to do next, I looked up into Anna's blue-gray eyes. She was staring silently back at me, shocked, her jaw slightly open, her wineglass still in hand. I've seen them too, she whispered hoarsely. Neither of us spoke while her words sank in. Wait, what? I stammered. You really have seen them. Anna nodded, her face as white as a sheet. Then what the fuck? I cried. You lied. I leaned forward as years of suppressed anger suddenly boiled to the surface. You're a hypocrite. How could you just diss your parents like that? Because, Havala, Anna snapped out of her stupor as she leaned menacingly toward me. Most people don't just say, hey, I've seen demons in the middle of dinner at a fucking Italian restaurant in the rolling hills of England. Who does that? People who tell the truth, I seethed. I'm sick of it. I am sick of fucking hypocrites like you making people like me feel crazy about something that you've already experienced. You know that the spiritual world is real. And you know what? You just admitted that in an Italian restaurant in England. So now you're one of those people too. I drained my wine glass and slammed it down, ready for whatever she chose to throw at me next. Anna looked like she was about to say something when our waitress seemed to pop out of nowhere next to the table. Can I get you ladies anything else while you're waiting? Want more wine? Anna sighed laconically. I nodded. 2 more glasses, please. She swept her blonde braids behind her shoulders and leaned into her seat, fondling her wine glass while we stared at each other, making sure the waitress was gone before we talked again. My heart thumped. Something was happening. Anna and I shared something, some mutual understanding that I hadn't felt with anyone else my age before. So, Anna continued, all laziness gone from her expression as a hard smile guarded the curiosity in her eyes. So have you always been able to see demons? How did that work out for you? Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to contribute to my GoFundMe campaign, I will put the details below.